I think everybody has an invite to the pub. Maybe not. Maybe we're missing one. Let's briefly start with the build.
I chose you.
Templates. Squad. We're going to look at mainly this build. It's obviously a support cleanse build.
Moment.
Yeah. Let me check if I selected all the traits correctly, but I think so. But we also well, I mean, we have two builds that I want to talk about, and both make sense as they do different, slightly different things. The second one.
Okay, sorry about that.
Okay, so the first build is a pure support healing build. It uses well, Beast Mastery, Nature Magic, and Druid. It's all focused on increasing healing or reducing the cooldowns or kill skills. Like for Beast Mastery, we're gonna reduce cooldowns for commands skill. For Nature Magic, we're going to reduce a little bit of the cooldowns on the Warhorn, which is, well, our weapon set are gonna be Staff and Axe Warhorn, so that we can have extra regen. The regen is really important to have high uptime on regen, especially because, well, it's an easy source of healing that can recharge the Celestial Avatar. The Celestial Avatar is gonna, well, it consumes Astral Force, which I would probably be calling energy from now on. So you get energy by doing damage and healing. Probably you won't do much damage, but you know, your easy source of healing is the regen uptime. Another good source of healing is your staff number 2, which is Astra's Wisp. You can attach it to one of your party members. I usually select my Firebrand, so it's almost guaranteed to rotate around people because the Firebrand should be close to others most of the time. Ancestral Grace is another great source of healing because it heals for a shit ton. Just remember not to shoot yourself into the enemies while doing that. As for the utilities, the Healing Spring is a nice regen provider. Same goes for Protect Me, since it's straight. Using, well, be nice if I could link from there, but I cannot. Yeah. Using this trait, it now provides regen and swiftness. It's really nice regen uptime, even without any boon duration. It still lasts forever. With minstrel gear, it will be, well, much more. I'm saying that because currently on my card I'm not running minstrel gear, so people that are watching the video will probably have different numbers. As for the glyphs, Glyph of Unity, Alignment, and Glyph of the Stars are mainly meant to be used in the celestial form, which is one of the main mechanic of Druid. Whenever you enter Celestial Avatar, your weapon skills will change, but also the glyphs will change. Now, the strongest glyph is the Glyph of the Stars, which provides stability, regen, and many more things. But mainly stability and regen, those are the two important boons that it provides. It also prevents down people to lose health, and it revives down the lie. Now, it's not like an illusion of life or a signet, as in the revives is slowly over time. So if the target is focused, they are not gonna get rest immediately. But if they are not focused at all, they might get rest over time. Which in any case, it's not why you're gonna use it. You're gonna use it mainly for the stability and the healing that it provides every single pulse. So those are the main advantages. As I was saying, the glyphs has to be used mainly in Celestial because the Celestial version provides the healing or support aspect. Yes, I will go back to resounding in a second. So basically the Celestial version are the support, while the normal version tends to be more of CC or damaging aspect of the glyphs. One thing that's quite important, the Glyphs of the Stars is really good in both versions, whether it is Celestial or not, because in both cases they cleanse and they provide stability. So you should prioritize using it in a Celestial avatar, but if you need it for the stability, just use it whenever it's available. Going back to the Protect Me, normally Protect Me doesn't have the regen and swiftness, but it's more of a selfish skill in the sense that it applies barrier to you, it applies protection, and it is an AoE break stun. If you trade it with resounding one, it provides, well, reduces the cooldown by 20%, which is nice. It applies regen and swiftness to allies in a 600 radius. So it's a loaded skill, as in it applies barrier to you, protection to you, regen and swiftness to allies, including you, and it breaks stuns AoE. Only 24 seconds cooldown. So it's really nice to have, and you can use it for multiple things. You know, you can keep it to break stun on ally. You can use it to save yourself if you get stuck into CC. It's a break stun. You can use it to apply regen and swiftness. I'm saying that because it has a very low cooldown, so it's not like it's 1 minute, so you have to really think about it. As for the pets, we ended up choosing these two pets mainly. The brown bear is, for me, the one of the most important pet because it gives you a Condi cleanse on 5 targets, which is nice. Now, as the secondary pet, you can choose between multiple choices. If your group requires a smoke field to blast, then the smoke scale is obviously the best pet you can choose. You can also pick a juvenile white tiger, which provides Aegis on 5 targets on a 16 seconds cooldown. I suggest looking at the wiki for the location of the pet, because some of those are quite stupid to get. Another kind of nice option is the Fernhound, which provides regen. A word of caution of this pet if you activate the skill, it's gonna stand still and shout. So if you activate the skill and start moving, that guy is gonna get stuck behind. So, you know, the pet is not really intelligent. Now, another pet which you can find suggested in meta battle is the turtle, which is kind of cute and nice. And when activated, creates this bubble that stands in place, which provides protection and shield allies from incoming projectiles. I mean, it's nice, but if you keep moving around, or if the commander keeps moving and it never actually stay in the same place, it's really hard to place a bubble that stands in the same spot. Which partially it's the reason why people started complaining when the scalpers got the gyro, the standing gyro. You know, it's because in Water Sword really, it's not really working well. But I suppose for certain game styles it might work well. So my suggestion would be running the bear and the tiger, unless the commanders wants the smoke scale for blasting. An extra egg is on a 16 cooldown. I mean, it's not game breaking, but it's not bad either. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's always not. I guess it's kind of like stability in a way, because it might stop an attack that might CC you. You know, and it might be nice. That's what I'm saying. You can always keep your bear and use that forever. So. You're not forced into swapping weapons or pets. Boom. Now, to go into the actual rotation on how to use. Yeah. Most of the pets stand still while shouting. You know, keep that in mind. But the bear has half a second of cast time, while the Fenhound has like 1 second or something cast time. So you really notice that that guy stands still and starts shouting. You can also keep an eye on your pet and see the health. 1 second and a half, yeah. But it's a really long. It feels like a forever. Like 1 second and a half, it feels forever. Especially considering that if you're using your bear to cleanse like E-mob or something, your target is not moving already. So chances are that you're gonna cleanse something. Like if you're using the Fenhound to provide regen, your potential targets are moving with you, so you're not going to hit anybody with that. So, as for the rotation, if you look at the cleanse that your class provides, you have plenty of cleanse. Mainly starting from the right, you have your Glypho Star. You can place that on the ground. Has been changed in the last patch. You replace it, and it will stand there and start pulsing all the goodies. Now it depends whether it is on celestial form or not. In either case, it's gonna cleanse conditions in the area that you have selected and pulse stability and healing. And it's also a combo field water if you are into blasting, and you will see later why that is important. Another skill that cleanse condition is your healing spring. Pay attention that that's also another skill that stands on the floor. You can see the circle, the green circle on the floor. Well, that's where it's pulsing the cleanse. So, you know, again, it's not like you're running and you use it. It's gonna stand behind and not be really effective. So if you wanna use it, you have to time it in a way that your group is gonna be walking into that. Well, it is a trap, but it's not a trap. I mean, yeah, I guess, because it's a trap in the sense that no, the allies won't activate it. It's activated by the enemies walking into it. So I guess it's the perfect skill to bunker down. So if enemy are pushing into you or you are backing away, you activate that and you're gonna sustain. Like, so it's not like it's not a skill that you activate while moving away and forget all about it. You have to be mindful, which is a recurring theme in the Druid specialization, because unlike Tempest, that you can sort of spam all the skills that you have and you somewhat cleanse stuff, with Druid, you have to think about what's happening in the battlefield to make sure that whatever you use, it's going to land and be effective. So, another cleanse that you have is your Vine Search. Now, it's both a cleanse and a CC. So, you throw vines at the enemy or at your allies, and you're gonna cleanse in the path. Notice that it's not a wide vine, it's kind of narrow, so you really need to aim properly. A nice bonus effect that is, if you manage to hit some enemies, they might get immobbed. So that's nice. Other than that, you don't have anything else that can cleanse on weapons. Your pet obviously can cleanse. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't cleanse all the condition, but it cleanses the most relevant one, because if you need to immediately cleanse, it's because allies have immob or cripple or chill. It's even better than some other clans in that regard, because even if the enemy cover their condies with loads of other stuff, you target the one that blocks your allies. So it's a really good cleanse. Now, entering Celestial Avatar also cleanse condition around you, which is nice. Now, the Seed of Life cleanse conditions. Your Glyph of Alignment cleanse conditions. And I think the 2-tip is... Yeah, and on that. Right. So, the Glyph of Alignments and your Seed of Life are your two main condi clans. Now, and obviously the Glyph of Stars, because that's OP. But the Seed of Life is an AoE targeted skill. So it works if you target your party, your squad correctly. If you drop it somewhere randomly, it's not gonna be effective. It also has a very low cooldown, so you can keep spamming it basically. And your objective while playing Druid is to keep getting back into your Celestial Avatar form, which you can do that every 10 seconds, and you're gonna do that every 10 seconds. Why is that important? It's important because you also have Lingering Light. Lingering Light affects your healing output, and you want to have close to 100% uptime on that buff. While you are in Celestial Avatar, you are automatic 20%. When you're out, you have 10% extra healing. So you want to maximize your time into Celestial Avatar. And unlike PvE raids, where you tend to get out of a Celestial Avatar if it's not really needed, I find out that in Wallace's World, you always want to use Celestial Avatar at its fullest, unless you are really retreating and then you're not gonna need it, the Celestial Avatar for the extra 10 seconds. Copy build template. So, as for the healing output, the healing is super interesting because, well, you have mainly these two skills. Well, I guess you could say that Cosmic Ray is another healing skill, but it's far less interesting. Now, the Rejuvenating Tides is going to be probably your highest healing output of the if you look at the breakdown of your healing, followed probably by Regen. Now, Lunar Impact is nice because it provides a blast finisher. So you have many skills that provide some kind of fields on the ground, and so you can probably blast something that you put down. And like 90% of the time when you blast something, it's gonna be something light, which is an extra County Cleanse. Oh, that's nice if you manage to blast it light. A nice bonus effect is that it also daze the target. So during a clash, you're automatically putting down CCs, even if you don't try. Yeah, about something that on the traits that I kind of forgot to mention before, especially on the Druid side, there are some options there. If your healing output is not really needed, or rather if you can spare 20% of your healing output, Praise of the Land might actually be interesting to keep up might, especially if your sub-party is not running any other kind of might share. That's a nice way to keep up the might on your sub-party. So even if you're not doing damage, you are contributing in might uptime. I haven't selected Celestial Shadow for the main reason that I hate super speed when it's completely random on sub-parties, because it might split the squad if used incorrectly. Like, you apply super speed to random people and they're gonna get split off tag, and the stealth after the Celestial Avatar is finished, it's also feels random. And it feels random because even if we were to play a Druid as secondary slot, it's not like you're gonna synchronize when you enter CA and therefore when you exit it. Yeah, it's really hard to synchronize. So in that case, the trait that I selected, which is this one, it kind of makes sense. Also, protection uptime without Scalpers, it might be low. Therefore, using glyphs applies protection around you, and it's quite often needed. As for the if you really wanted to have more CC, then Ancient Seed is also really strong. Because if you strike a stun or dazed target, you then immob them. Then again, the default build that I posted before is for pure support, and I stand by it because I think it's more of the role of the Druid right now. If you guys remember at the start, I posted also another build which is more for a Celestial playstyle. If you wanted, you can run it with. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention the stats of this build. As a full support, you're running Minstrel with Monk Runes. There's nothing much more to say on that. If you wanted to run a slightly more offensive build, you could be running this one. It has the advantage of having muddy terrain on both utility and on the healing skill. So you drop down your healing skill and you will also drop down the muddy terrain, which is an immob. Unfortunately, the cleanse on the wilderness knowledge is on yourself and not AoE. Otherwise, it'll be sick. So yeah, that's mainly the difference between the two builds. But what the second one is more suited for a Celestial playstyle where you are trying to CC, drop a little bit of damage maybe, and try to support the squad. And you're not as focused as on supporting and healing. Now, I've talked for close to half an hour. Do you guys have any question?
I don't think so. I now know which buttons to press instead of slamming them all randomly, so...
Yeah, it certainly makes a little bit of a eye-opener, because I used to slam all my buttons down.
No, yeah, I mean... There are some other tips that, you know, you might want to... Sigil rules, right. I usually run with, as sigils, transference and life on both weapons, because I really always forget about which weapon has the stacking sigil. Another good alternative to a stacking sigil could be Sigil of Energy. It all depends on your playstyle, really. The Sigil of Life or Benevolence, well, really boost your stats. So I kind of like them. You could be using as weapons the double. Yeah. I mean, if you are not using Sigil of Life or of Benevolence, you really want to use Sigil of Energy and nothing, because nothing else really improves your output. If you want to improve your output, you're going for Sigil of Life. Otherwise, you go for Energy to stay alive. As for the Celestial, I would still go for the same sigils. As for the rune, I'm usually default to Rune of the Monk on all my support builds. If you are into a more aggressive playstyle, probably durability kinda makes sense. But also does Rune of the Monk, so because it's improve your healing output anyway. So those are the options, in my opinion. when do you enter CA? Well, first, it's rather more important. It will depend on sub-parties, synergies mostly, but remember that Glyph of the Stars provides stability, and provides stability on the targeted area, which is, if you play Vibrance, is like Hallowed Ground, sort of. So you have to time it correctly where to place this AoE effect, but also you have to synchronize that with your Vibrant or other people that provide stability in your sub party, because if you are if you're gonna drop it in front, you know, and your Vibrant is gonna use his Hallowed Ground, well, you kind of both wasted the skill. So, other than that, entering CA, it's not like there is a timer, a good timing for him. It's probably one of the first things that you do after you enter combat. Like, you enter combat, you try to stay in CA as much as possible. Mostly because the skills that you have in Celestial Avatar are far stronger as a support when compared to the weapon skills. So, you know, use it as soon as possible as the, you know, if we are pushing into the enemy, use it on the push. Also, remember that your Warhorn skill, the number 5, it's a blast finisher, it's a daze, but it also provides fury, might, swiftness, and regen. That's another skill that you want to use maybe before we are pushing. You drop Call of the Wild, you provide swiftness, regen to your allies, and then you go into the fight using Celestial Avatar, drop your glyphs, and use your number 4, 3 and 2 mainly.
I guess the choice with CA is reactionary depending on what's going on.
Yes, and that's something really important to notice for Druid. You are kind of reacting to the environment more than, like, for example, Vindicator. Vindicator is like preventing damage to happen with the barriers. Druid is more reacting to what's happening on the field and using it, especially because of the targeted skill on the floor. You have to have a clear overview of what's happening, and then you decide where to cleanse. You know, so not only you have to position yourself within the party, but you also you have to look where your party is and, you know, cleanse it. And something that helps me is always keep my target on the Vibrant, because whenever I use Astral Wisp, you know, it automatically goes there, and it never really you don't have to target some enemy if you don't want to, because now your skills applies to allies as well. I mean, the most important ones at least. There was a question before on Immob. Now, given if you're running a full support build, the only Immob that you have is your Vine Surge, and your Vine Surge, you're trying to use it mainly as cleanse, but, you know, if the commander calls for a Wells, or you want to try and bomb some kind of zone, then you want to try an Immob. Natural Conversion, it is an Immob, but it also immobs you. In a sense that for 2.5 seconds, you're gonna stand still and cast your skill. Now, I'd suggest never using it unless you really know what we are doing. Because because yes, it does. I mean, it does immob, but yeah, it's really easy. I mean, again, in situation where we say, I mean, maybe we are already winning, then you can use it. But yeah, something other, probably I forgot about it, but this one is also really strong. Which it's a projectile hate, but not only it destroys the projectiles, but it converts them to healing, which is again, you can simply place it in front of while the enemy is 1-1-1ing you, and you drop it, and it's nice. You're gonna stop the attack and apply regen. Any other questions?
Fast as the professional I've been energized.
Do I stuff? No, I use Axe, Warhorn, and stuff. Now, the main reason for that is because I really like this trait on the. I mean, we're kind of forced to run it anyway because there are no other decent alternatives. But the extra regen and the reduced cooldown on Warhorn, and the fact that the number 5 Warhorn is really strong to apply Fury Might, and sometimes Fury is not commonly available in sub parties, so having the ability to provide 12 seconds or more of Fury, it's
Your Revenant will thank you.
yeah, no, I mean, even if you are running with a Revenant, still providing 12 seconds of Fury, it's nice, But I saw, and even Meta Battle runs double staff, I think. Yeah, you can make you can argue that staff, double staff is helpful. You can have one with stacking sigil, the one with transference, and both with energy. So that's always an option. More immob oriented build are running with these two traits and make use on swap sigil to do damage. So if you're always running stuff and you do damage with your sigil, which is like Hydromancy, does that, you're gonna immob on weapon swap, basically, while in combat. So, that's also nice. But I find that if you're focused on healing, it's kind of hard to have the same, the mindset to, okay, I have to find a good spot to blink myself in, swap weapon to immob, and then start healing again. I mean, I used to run that full immob druid. It's fun, kind of effective as well. Also, remember that your staff number 3, it heals and blast where you land, but it can also be used to get the fuck out of a place that you find yourself into the enemy. Just using number 3 and run away. Well, Any other questions?
Sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, yes, but you're not gonna use a skill to just, you know, move out and have 2 stack of stab on yourself. I mean, in the middle of the shit, what you probably end up using the most is the number 4 and number 2, and keep spamming that with the number 3 as filler, basically. Between that and the glyphs, you won't have time to think about, you know, the number 5. Although it does look super cool, and remember that your pet can also die, which happens quite often if your pet randomly attacks stuff and then gets nuked. And if it gets nuked, you're not gonna be able to use his ability. And with that said, if there are no other questions, I will end the training session.
Inko, that was brilliant. It's put things in a better perspective, really.
But that was the goal. So,
You done well.
Thanks, Shinko.